There is a version of you that you have never met, not because it doesn't exist, but because you have spent your entire life making sure it stays hidden. Carl Jung called it the shadow, and he considered it one of the most important and most dangerous forces operating in the human psyche. Understanding it, he believed, was not optional for anyone who wished to live a truly conscious life. The shadow begins forming in childhood. As we grow up, we receive messages from parents, teachers, culture, religion, about which parts of ourselves are acceptable and which are not. Aggression, greed, sexuality, laziness, jealousy, these and many other qualities get labeled as bad, shameful, or unlovable. So we do what all children do when they want to be loved. We push them down. We hide them. We pretend they don't exist. And slowly, piece by piece, we construct a version of ourselves that seems clean, presentable, and safe. But Jung was very clear about something. What we repress does not disappear. It gathers in the unconscious, accumulates energy, and begins to operate on its own. The shadow is not passive. It is active. It influences your choices, your relationships, your emotional reactions, all without your awareness or consent. You think you are acting freely. Often, you are being driven by what you refuse to face. One of the shadow's most common operations is what Jung called projection. This is the psychological mechanism by which we take something we cannot accept in ourselves and perceive it instead in someone else. The person who furiously condemns dishonesty in others but cannot see their own deceptions. The moralist who rages against sexual permissiveness while suppressing their own desires. The individual who finds a particular colleague inexplicably irritating, only because that colleague displays a trait the individual secretly shares but refuses to acknowledge. Jung said it plainly. Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. Projection keeps the shadow invisible. As long as we can locate our darkness out there, in other people, in society, in enemies, we never have to turn the lens inward. This is psychologically comfortable but profoundly costly. Relationships suffer. Judgment becomes distorted. And the energy required to maintain the fiction of our own purity grows heavier with every passing year. The shadow is not purely negative. However, Jung made a distinction that is often overlooked. He spoke of the personal shadow, the individual's own repressed material, but he also recognized that within the shadow lie enormous reserves of vitality, creativity, and passion. Many people who suppress their anger also suppress their assertiveness. Many who deny their ambition also deny their gifts. The shadow does not only hold what is harmful, it also holds what is powerful. This is why Jung described shadow integration not as a process of becoming darker, but of becoming more complete. Shadow work, the deliberate effort to bring unconscious material into consciousness, is demanding. It requires honesty that most people find uncomfortable. It means sitting with the possibility that the traits you most despise in others live also in you. It means looking at your emotional reactions not as judgments about the world, but as windows into your interior. It means developing what Jung called the moral courage to face one's own darkness without either flinching or surrendering to it. The reward, however, is extraordinary. People who engage seriously with their shadow report a reduction in the intensity of their projections. They become less reactive, less prone to irrational outbursts, less likely to demonize others. They also tend to become more creative, more energetic, more genuinely compassionate, because compassion for others' darkness becomes possible only when we have made peace with our own. Jung was not naive about this process. He knew it was ongoing, never fully complete. The shadow does not disappear through a single insight or a weekend workshop. It is a lifelong companion, one that demands regular attention and honest engagement. But he also believed that the alternative, a life lived in unconscious denial, was far more dangerous. Individuals who refuse to face their shadow tend to act it out. Collectively, societies that project their shadow onto outgroups have produced some of history's greatest atrocities. The shadow asks a simple but terrifying question. Are you willing to be a whole person, or only a comfortable one? Jung's answer was unambiguous. Wholeness, not perfection, was the goal of psychological maturity. And wholeness requires knowing not just the light you carry, but the darkness too. Subscribe to Psychology Theories Explained to explore more of the ideas that shape the modern mind.